Now live from Palin Music Studios in Springfield, Missouri, it's Wake Up with Greg. Here's your host, Greg.
Hey friends, welcome and good morning. Welcome to Wake Up with Greg. I am your host, Greg Rosander with Palin Music Center here in Springfield, Missouri. Happy to be with you on this lovely Wednesday morning. Hope you are all doing well. Hope you're having a great start to your day. And what better way to start your day than with this show, right? Come on, this is what we're all about. We're here to have some fun. We're here to interact. We're here to share some really cool instruments today. We're here to share music, life, love, laughter, whatever you want. We'll talk about it. Well, almost everything. Anyway. So welcome to the show. Happy to have you here. It's a beautiful day outside, as you can see from my window. Where is my window? My window's back here somewhere. There it is. Everything's backwards on this screen. I always get mixed up. Anyway, you can see it's beautiful, bright blue skies outside. Sunshine, 73 degrees. It's close to that, actually, really, in the real world. But so yeah, it's a good day. It's Wednesday. I've got a unique assemblage of horns. Assemblage, that's a fun word. Of horns for you this morning. These are recent acquisitions, and they are very vintage. So this is going to be kind of a treat for me, and hopefully a treat for you as well. I've got two trumpets and a trombone to share with you today, and these instruments are for sale. These are on our website, or they will be after today. Got to get photos of them and stuff, but we just recently acquired them, so pretty excited about it. A couple of trumpets and a trombone, some really vintage, like coming up on almost 100 years old. So excited to share those with you today. I've got some fun music for you today. I've got today's kind of comfort food day, and what I mean by comfort food is just music or art or literature or whatever that just makes you feel good, So that's what we're going to be talking about today. So hope you're going to be enjoying it as well. I don't see her on the chat this morning, so she's probably not available because she's in Norway now. So I'm going to say hi to Mom wherever you are, somewhere on her ship. Don't know if she's got coverage or not. But anyway, hope you're having a fantastic journey on your Norwegian cruise. So safe travels, and we'll talk to you when you get back. Max and Vincent are on the show this morning so far. We'd love to have the rest of you join in on the chat. Leave your comments, ask your questions, let me know where you're watching from. It's the best way for us to interact and have a good time. So I hope you're all out there having a great day, and we're going to get it started by having a great day as well. So with that, let's say good morning to Jordan. Good morning, Jordan.
Good morning.
How are you today?
I'm good.
I'm good. Good. Glad to hear you're good. I'm good too.
That's good.
Are we good? We're good.
We're good.
We're good, people. We're good. Anything exciting going on in the world today? Nope. No. Okay, good.
No.
Glad to hear that there's
We
nothing,
could
nothing going on in the world at all.
we could I don't know if you want to do this, but we have a special episode coming soon. I don't know when you want to talk about that. We don't have to talk about it yet.
I mean,
But
we've kind of been.
They know about it.
They know
but
you guys know about it. We've kind of been talking about it, here and there. I believe it's going to be Friday of this week. We'll confirm that with you tomorrow. Of course, it could be tomorrow. It could be Friday. I think it's going to be Friday, though. A few weeks ago, I did an amazing lifetime experience for me interview with the great Jay Beckenstein of Spyro Gyra. Spyro Gyra is one of my favorite bands of all time in the world. But also just one of the great jazz groups, one of the most prolific, one of the most long-lasting groups. Jay Beckenstein and Spyro Gyra, they're on their 50th anniversary tour this year. Got to meet up with Jay in St. Louis a few weeks ago up at the City Winery up there and had an amazing time just hanging out and chatting, talking about music and all kinds of stuff. So we've got that special edition of this show. I think we'll do it live during this show on Friday. I mean, the interview won't be live, but it'll be during this live show. So I think that's how we're going to do it, right?
Yeah.
So we decided? Okay. I think that's how we're going to do it. So make sure you tell all of your friends, all of your family, all your coworkers, everybody you know in the entire world to log in on Friday to this show, 8:30 a.m. Central Time. So you California folks and Hawaii folks got to get up really early to watch it live. You East Coast folks, you no sweat for you. You can sleep in an hour or two. So anyway, tell everybody. So hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the share button. Share this with everyone you know, and then do all of that good stuff. So it's going to be a great show. I'm just super proud of it. I'm super excited about it, and it's been the anticipation of it finally coming to fruition is just really great. So I'm super excited about that. So yeah, there we go. That's the biggest thing we got going on this week.
Yep.
And then of course, in a few weeks, I'm sure in fact, I saw a meme today, only 8 Saturdays left till Christmas.
All
Woohoo!
right. That's
Which
awesome.
means there's only 3 or 4 until Thanksgiving. So yeah. And then we have Blue Friday, the big Palin Music Blue Friday event where we'll have giveaways and cool stuff on the show that day. So be sure to stay tuned for that. All right. Well, shall we dive into this? I think maybe.
Yes.
We'll just do that. So let's dig into some cool vintage horns.
Let's do it. All right. Before we hop into the first one, can you tell us about your shirt and watch today?
The shirt and watch today. This is my jazz shirt. This is my Uncle Ken shirt. Hey, good morning, Arnell. Welcome from San Francisco. Good to see you. So talking about the shirt here, my jazz shirt. So it's got some, which way do I turn? That way. Trumpets, trombones. Is there saxophones on there? Oh, yeah, there's a saxophone in there, kind of hiding in there. So fun little gift from my Uncle Ken. I appreciate that. It's jazzy. We'll do my jazz hands. How we got that. So that's the jazz shirt. I don't even think it has a brand on it. I looked for a tag. There's no tag, no nothing. So anyway, and then the watch. This is my Citizen Echo Drive World Timer atomic watch. Really cool thing about this. It was daylight savings this weekend, and I'm like, you know what? I don't know how to set this watch because it's got too many buttons and it's all complicated. And so I was worried I was going to have to, try to figure out how to set this watch. And I woke up. Was it Sunday morning? We had to turn the clocks back Saturday. We wake up Sunday, something like that. And the watch it set itself because it's like radio synced to the atomic clock, the world atomic clock. So I didn't have to change it. Boom, it was done like that. So supremely cool deal there. That is the Citizen Echo Drive World Timer. This is a limited edition watch. This was a gift from my buddy John, who's on the show sometimes. He may pop in here if he's watching today. So, all right. So there we go. That's the shirt and watch. Let's dig into some of these really cool horns. These horns have been around for a while, but I'm still going to respect them with my white gloves and see what we've got here. Now I'm going to show you the case on this horn, but keep in mind this case is not the original case and doesn't really go with the horn that's in it, but I'll show it to you anyway. So we've got a vintage, really vintage. It's in a little bit of a rough shape, but it's still still holding together. The latch is still working, everything. It says Bundy on the case, but this is not a Bundy horn. But the case is kind of really cool. But let's see what's inside here. If I can get these latches to open, if they'll cooperate. There we go. Boom, boom, boom. All right, take a look at this guy. Right? What is that? I mean, yeah, obviously it's a trumpet, but man, this is a 1930. Yeah, so we're coming up on 100 years. So 95 years old. This horn is, or 94, 96, somewhere around there. Anyway, this is a King Liberty trumpet. Look at the just gorgeous engraving on there. I hope it translates on the screen that you can see it there. This is the model 1050. In the 30s, they made three basic. This was their top of the line trumpet. They made three versions: the 1049, 1050, 1051, I think it was, or maybe it's the 50, 51, 52. Can't remember specific. Actually, I've got it in front of me here. Let me tell you what it is. Yeah, 1049, 1050, and 1051. So this one is their, at the time, was considered a medium bore horn. So a medium bore, what do we get with a medium bore? We've got a 450 bore. So that's a pretty tight bore to modern standards. You usually medium large is kind of the most common size, which is about a 458. And then a large bore horn would be like a 462. And then a small, the 1049 was a small bore, which is like a 438. I can't imagine what that would be like playing today. But this has completely gone through our shop, our professional brass technicians really cleaning this up and getting it sparkling and beautiful playing. All of the slides move beautifully. I mean, they're just silky smooth on those slides. For a 100-year-old horn, it's amazing. The piston action is just honestly super light. Gosh, this is a gorgeous horn, guys. And this is going to be priced at a screaming deal. I mean, this is going to be way less than like a new student horn. So you're going to get a professional grade horn, U.S. made. I mean, handcrafted in the USA, Cleveland, Ohio. I think, pretty sure it's Cleveland, is where the H.N. White company was. H.N. White, kind of the parent company of the King brand, until they sold in 1965, I think is when it was sold, and then became part of the whole Conn-Selmer conglomerate that it is today. But the King Liberty was their top of the line horn. This is only a 4.5-inch bell, so pretty small diameter bell, pretty small taper, like I said, medium bore, but a great horn. It's a great playing horn, great lead player's horn. I mean, if you listen to any like big band music or swing, jazz music from the 20s and 30s, I mean, this is primarily the trumpet that you're hearing. I mean, this was the most popular trumpet of its day, played by many, many of the top brass players in the 30s, in all of the big swing bands of the era. So it's an iconic sound. It's an iconic horn. And it's just beautiful. I mean, for a 100-year-old horn, this one is in really good shape. I'm not really seeing any evidence of like any severe, dents or damage to the bell. I mean, there's, of course, with any horn, you're going to have little tiny flea bite dings and stuff, especially after 100 years. The only thing that is really missing on this horn, now, it didn't come with any first or third slide hooks or rings like you see on a modern horn today. There is a lyre bracket here, so you could put a third ring or a third slide ring in there, because you can get them that'll fit that, so you can have that function. And then the only other piece that's really not present is the third slide adjustable locking mechanism there. The posts are there for it, so you can actually get those parts to add there, and we may actually add those on there. I don't know, to make it completely functional. Water keys. Perfectly functional. All of the soft parts have been replaced on this. So your key corks, water key corks, I mean your felts in the pistons, spring tension's been adjusted. The valve port alignment's been set up on this. So guys, this is a steal of a horn. Absolutely killer steal of a horn. The King Liberty model 1050 medium bore. This is a all yellow brass, I believe it is. I don't think there's any other fancy. Let me see if there's any other specs that I can give you on this. 37 ounces is the weight, so that's roughly just a little over 2 pounds, two and a quarter pounds maybe. Length is about 19, almost 20 inches long. During the 30s and 40s, common to see 2 types of valve design, springs below or springs above the valves. Let me just check these. I'm curious if these are bottom sprung or top sprung. We'll take a look at that here. Let's pop that open. All right, so these are top sprung. All right, so which is kind of the more modern setup on that. So it's the preferred style for horns today. So there you go. That's the King Liberty vintage horn, almost 100-year-old horn from 1930. Beautiful silver-plated finish. Come and check this out. We'll have it up live on the website very, very soon as we get photos of it. And or if you want it now, give me a call, 417-882-7006, or check out our Reverb page. We'll have it listed up there shortly as well. The engraving on this is just gorgeous. The engraving they do today is good, don't get me wrong, but this classic era engraving is just, there's something special about it. So anyway, there it is. Looks like there's a couple mouthpieces in here, and these are vintage original mouthpieces too. The Equitrue mouthpiece by King, or by H.N. White, and the second one in there too. I didn't realize there were 2 in this one. What is this one here? 2 of the same mouthpiece. There you go. So you can just double up, I guess. But that's cool. That's horn number 1 for you. Our next one we have up for grabs is not as vintage, but it is certainly older than me still, so that's definitely vintage. So we'll set this one aside here. We'll grab the next one and get it ready. All right, but before we get into the next horn,
can you recommend some music to us?
I can do that for sure. All right. So my musical selection for today, like I said, comfort food. I'm taking you back to what I listen to when I just need to, recenter myself, to kind of just remember that everything is okay in the world and it's all going to be all right. Artie Shaw is my guy. I was going to be cheeky and play one of his songs for you today, but I'm not going to do that one. I'm just going to stick with my heart, what my gut tells me to do. And this song is, it's the standard. This is his most famous song. And it's just, it's special. It just really, it's a feel-good song. Begin the Begin is the song that we're talking about here. Hey, Average Metal Enjoyers here. Good morning, my friend. Welcome to the show. Hey, Average Metal Enjoyer, I need to know what your actual name is. I just need your first name. You don't have to tell me your whole name. I don't want to, invade your privacy or anything, but I'd like to be able to just call you by your name. You know my name. It seems only fair, but there we go. Artie Shaw, Begin the Begin. This is the song, kind of a sad story. This is the song that he didn't want to play anymore. When he, Harry, I love it. All right, we'll go with Harry. Fantastic. Now I know. Average Metal Enjoyer's name is Harry. There you go. Artie Shaw quit the entire music industry in, I think it was like somewhere mid-50s. The date always gets confusing with me, whether it's 1952 or 1958. Anyway, he put his horn down forever and never touched it again, which, was a great loss to the music world for sure. He picked back up in the 80s and reformed his band, but with somebody else playing the clarinet part. He was just the conductor of the band at that point, but still playing all of his, classic songs and whatnot. So, and then he, conducted that band for many, many years after that. Hey, my brother Steve is here. Good morning, brother. Great to have you. So anyway, my comfort food song for the day, Begin the Begin by Artie Shaw. I'm adding it to the playlist now, the Wake Up with Greg playlist on Spotify. There we go. We have it, Wake Up with Greg on Spotify, public playlist. You can check out all of the songs I've recommended on this show for the past 178 episodes. Yeah, because I think Friday is 180. All right. So that's my musical selection for the day. I hope you enjoy that. I hope you listen to it and just get a feeling of goodness and happiness in your soul with that song today. And then listen to everything else he's played. So there you go. All right, got the Hawaiian coffee going, getting me energized here. Shall we look at another horn?
Let's do it.
Let's do that. All right. I'll put my fancy gloves back on. I got to show you this case. This is the original case for this horn, and they just don't make them like this anymore. And there may be reasons for that. You know, if they're ethical reasons, you know, if you animal rights folks out there have an issue, we can talk about that or not talk about it. But anyway, check out this case. All right. This is the real deal, folks. This is real alligator, real leather. Man, back the way they did this is from 1954, I believe, is the time period on this particular horn. This is a Reynolds Contempora trumpet, top of the line professional trumpet from the Reynolds Company, which is a company that no longer is in existence anymore, but they were at the peak of the brass. All right, come on, Latch, work with me here. There we go, we got it. All right. These older cases and stuff, you know, sometimes they're a little shy and finicky. But check out this horn. Now, this one's a little bit more rough in its finish, but still, I mean, just a structurally beautiful horn. So what do we have here with the Reynolds Contempora? I'm going to try and show this. The engraving is a little worn over these past, 50 plus years on this horn, but it says Contempora running the length of the bell right here. So really, really cool. And then another really cool feature, and I'll talk more about this in a minute, is this bell ring of nickel silver that goes around the edge of the bell. So what have we here with this horn? This is the Reynolds Contempora. So now F.E. Reynolds got his start, I believe, in the Kahn Company, and then broke free and started his own manufacturer, making just really high-end trumpets. Many horns for military bands, and if you ever see any of the classic Reynolds horns or Olds horns that have the, it's kind of a hammered, dimpled, kind of like the surface of a golf ball, a dimpled finish all across those. The military horns all had that fantastic finish on it. So what is special about this horn? Well, this is a large bore horn. This is the model 40L. Came out in 1954. This is a 462 bore, so this is a great jazz horn, powerful horn. It's got a 4 5/8 inch bronze alloy bell. Okay, bronze alloy. So the bronze is going to give you a nice power and punch and cut to the sound. So great if you're, a lead player for sure, or if you need to cut through a rhythm section or whatnot in a jazz group or pop group or whatnot. But man, just the killer features on this. This one has, what else can I tell you about it? It's 21.5 inches long, so a little bit longer than the previous horn. Brass body with nickel silver trim. Now, this one is actually pretty rare because this one has you can see the upper balusters, they call them, the upper section of the valve casing is done in the same bronze alloy as the bell. And it turns out the mouthpiece receiver as well also has the bronze. Normally on these horns, you would see nickel silver on the top balusters there. But the bronze is a really unique and rare feature. Only came out in like a certain serial number range, which this horn happens to be in, like 33,000 to 38,000, I think, had the bronze upper balusters, which is really cool. Mother of pearl key touches, of course. But it's got the first slide trigger, okay? Got a trigger mechanism there, which is really slick. On modern horns, you're going to see, sometimes the triggers are still around on some horns, and especially by a special order, but just allows you to fine tune the tuning or intonation of the horn as you're playing, but also allows you to do certain effects and whatnot, so which is really cool. And then what do you have? Everything on this has been replaced, all the soft parts. This has completely gone through our shop. The nickel silver ring on the bell, okay? So this is the technical term they call it is called the Kranz, Kranz. And what that nickel silver was, because the bell is a very thin gauge bronze alloy, so it's very thin. And without that added support on the bell, you get kind of a spread on the horn that can kind of get a little out of control, so to speak. So what that nickel silver ring does is it kind of dials that tone back in to keep it from breaking up at higher volumes. So it's a really cool deal. You find that more on the Olds brand instruments, the F.E. Olds company, which Mr. Reynolds, after retiring from the Reynolds company, was hired by the Olds company and then kind of took over that. And so you'll see a lot of crossover in the designs between the Reynolds horns and the Olds horns, but both great American-made horns. This one from 1954. Now this one does have a few very minor dings in the bell there, but nothing that's going to affect the playability of the horn at all. It's purely cosmetic. But again, a great professional grade horn from the middle part of the 20th century. I mean, a horn that's that old with that kind of smooth, just buttery light action. High performance horn, guys. This is a great horn. And again, this will be available to you at less than the price of a new student model. In fact, far less than a new student model. Yeah, that's the Reynolds Model 40L Contempora trumpet. And this will be live on the website soon. Or, like I said, if you want it today, give me a call, 417-882-7006. I love vintage horns. I'm not a brass player, but, man, if I were, of course, I always talk about like the Adams A4 as far as modern horns are concerned. But, man, give me a vintage horn any day over a modern horn. I don't know why. I just love them. I play vintage saxophones. So I guess that explains it. But there's the horn. Fantastic sound, fantastic condition for a 50-plus-year-old. Actually coming up on 60 years, right? Well, this is 2024, and this was made in 1954. So, yeah, we're talking 60-year-old horn here, guys. And will play as good as the day it was born. So, yeah, there you go. Check that one out, guys. The Reynolds Contempora vintage horn. This comes as a kit with the mouthpiece. But, man, one of the just best parts of this deal is this amazing alligator skin case in this natural leather case. I mean, it's just beautiful. Just beautiful. All right. So there you go. That's horn number 2. All right. Let me set that one down. If I can set that down, I'll grab one more here.
All right. Do you want to show us something cool?
Yes, I will show you something cool. And today is the Wake Up with Greg Book Club once again. Talking about comfort food, the things that bring comfort and peace to your life. This is a really special book for me. I've had it most of my life, and hopefully some of you know the story or have read it. And if you haven't, you need to definitely give it a read and read it with your kids, because this is a great book for kids as well. This is the classic Where the Red Fern Grows by Wilson Rawls. Story of a boy and his 2 coonhounds, and it's just a heartwarming story. There's also some tragedy in it. If you know the story, how it ends. I won't give you any spoilers as to what happens. But here's one of the coolest things for me. This book is signed by the author and signed for me, it says there, to Greg Rosander, sincerely, Wilson Rawls. And you see the date on there, 2/28/1977. So February 28th, 1977. I was 9 years old when I first got this book and first read this book. Mr. Rawls was giving a talk at our elementary school, old Amy B. Seibert School out there in Bakersfield, California. And so I got to meet him, got to shake his hand, and he gave a talk about this book. This book was written in 1961, so it's been around for quite a bit, almost as long as that trumpet. But got to shake his hand, got to meet him, and the coolest thing was at the talk, he actually had a sample with him a live plant of a red fern. And so the legend of the red fern really is, I think the legend goes that there was a man and a woman who were deeply in love and died tragically in some form. And between their graves arose this red fern. It wasn't planted there by anybody as far as we know, but it's a symbol of undying love between two people. And it takes place in this story in relation to the dogs, Old Dan and Little Ann. I mean, little kind of maybe semi-spoiler alert there, but to really see a red fern in person, to tie it to the story, it was just super, super cool. Steve, we're vintage too, brother. Yeah, we are vintage, my friend, and getting more vintage every day. But yeah, this is just a sweet book. It's been made into a movie a couple of times at least. I think the first version came out in the 70s. And then there was a more recent version came out in the early 2000s, starring Dave Matthews. Actually, he plays the dad in the movie. Kind of interesting to have it, but I wouldn't say it's a great movie by any stretch of the imagination, but the story is solid. So you can check that out, either version of the movie, but more importantly, read the book because the book is so much better. This is a great book. Like I said, this is my comfort food for the Wake Up with Greg book club. It's an easy read. I mean, it's just a little over 200 pages, but I mean, you can read it. My wife could read this in a day. I could read it in a weekend probably. But anyway, give it a read. Check it out. Where the Red Fern Grows. I'm sure it's still published, still available, or find yourself a vintage copy like this and enjoy it as well. So there you go. That's my cool thing for the day. At least I think it's cool. Hope you all do too. All right. Let's dig into this last horn for the day. Now, this is a trombone. And I'll show you the case here. I'll do my best here. This one is, again, a little less vintage, but still vintage in the grand scheme of things. I need to kind of figure out what the lines are. What determines something is vintage or antique or whatnot? What's the date range or the time frame? Is it 10 years? Is it 50 years? Is it 100 years? What is it that makes it vintage versus classic versus antique? I mean, you listen to music all the time. You hear classic rock. Well, classic rock in the 80s was songs from the 50s and 60s. Classic rock in the 90s was songs from the 70s. Classic rock in the 2000s is music from the 80s. Classic rock from today is like from the year 2000. I mean, so what makes it classic? What makes it antique or vintage? As my brother Steve says, we are vintage for sure. So, all right. So here's the trombone case. I'll just do a quick scan there. This is the premier horn of its day, and still one of the top horns in the world. And honestly, the manufacturing and specs and style of this horn has not changed much over these last coming up on 40 years. This is the. Does that work there? Yeah. Okay, we're safe there. This is the Conn 88H symphonic trombone. Now, this is the traditional wrap version of the horn. But this horn is from 1986, well, same year I graduated high school. And I mean, it looks almost brand new. I mean, it is in pristine condition. Whoever owned this horn took immaculate care of it. It has gone through our shop and has had a full brass service. You know, everything's been cleaned and serviced, all the slides polished and lubricated, the hand slide aligned and regulated as well. So what do we have spec-wise? Well, I can look off the current spec sheet for a Conn 88H. This is a large bore horn. This is a 547 large bore horn with the fourth 562 rotor section. Okay, this has an 8.5-inch rose brass bell. And this is a two-piece bell. I can see the line right there. I don't know if you can see that. But still hand-hammered, hand-formed. you've got the throat of the bell and then the flare of the bell, and then brazed together to make the one piece. But rose brass, we've talked about many times on the show, has a higher copper content, which gives it that reddish color, which adds that warmth in the tone. This is probably one of the most popular symphonic horns used in symphonies and orchestras all around the world. Also, a great horn for a trombone section in a dance or swing band, jazz band, that kind of thing. Great solo horn as well. This has the traditional wrap, okay? So we've talked about the difference between a traditional wrap and an open wrap. So this is the traditional where it kind of winds in on itself and inside, so very compact in this upper section of the horn. An open wrap, all of those bends and curves are taken out of that and extends out further. So this is going to have a bit more resistance to it. It's going to be, you get a bit more of that feedback in the rotor section. Standard rotor on there, nothing fancy on that, but man, just a workhorse of a horn. One of the most respected, reliable, universally loved trombones in the world. Let me show you the slide here real quick, the hand slide. Let me put this back. This case is a little weird how this sets up here, but I think I've got it. Something like that. Is that how it goes in there? Nope, I got it messed up. There we go. Come on, cooperate, Mr. Trombone. There we go. Got it. Okay, now we got her in there. So the slide, also rose brass on the outer slide. Okay, so you can see that nice coppery red color there. Let me unlock it there. And man, for a 40-year-old horn, that is smooth as silk right there. Not a sound to it. Nickel silver. Actually, is that nickel silver? I think that's a nickel silver crook. Hard to tell in this light. It could be yellow brass. I'm pretty sure it's nickel silver because everything else up top is nickel silver as well. So perfectly aligned, perfectly smooth action on that slide. For a horn, like I said, that is 40 years old, this is a steal of a deal, and this will be an amazing price on our website at palinmusic.com or on our Reverb page, or like I said, before we even get it listed, give me a call, 417-882-7006, and we'll send it home with you today. I think it's going to be less than $2,000, guys. I mean, it's going to be just absolutely amazing. So come and get these as absolutely amazing. My mouth stopped working. My brain is froze. Good morning, Nate.
Why, hello, Gregory.
My buddy Nate's all sneaking in behind the stage there. So I got to always acknowledge him when he comes in. He's trying to be all sneaky and quiet. And I just won't let him do it. All right. All right, so that's the last horn for the day. What do we got left, Mr. Jordan? If I can get that latch to work. There we go.
Can you close us out with some wisdom?
Close you out with some wisdom. This wisdom comes from the author and poet T.S. Eliot. You will know him from his Old Possum's Book of Practical Cats, which I've talked about on this show a number of times. But he says this about music, and it's a very simple, short quote. He says, "You are the music while the music lasts." Deep thoughts by T.S. Eliot, right? You are the music while the music lasts. Love that. I think that's cool. So that's my piece of wisdom for the day. That's my show for the day. We got 2 more left for the week, guys. And we got the Spyro Gyra interview coming up on Friday. So tell all your friends. Make sure to tune in and check it out because it's going to be awesome. I love you guys. I'm so thankful you're all here today. It's great being on the chat with you all. And we'll be back here tomorrow morning, 8:30 a.m. Central, right here. Remember this, helping people make meaningful music is what we do. And when you're ready, I'm here for you too. We'll see you tomorrow, friends. Have a good day. Bye-bye.